Yippee! Break out the cameras, get the dark room ready because we're going to have some photos to develop and there is much to discuss. I'm not going to lie, not every indie game catches my attention as much as Heartworm did. For the moment I played the demo, I definitely knew I was going to buy this game. It was a must-buy day one game for me. I absolutely love these new age PS1 style games that have been coming out recently by indie developers. Not only have they been hitting me in the member berries and making me nostalgic as hell, but in my personal opinion, they've been providing me with a lot better gaming experience than most modern day games have been doing for a while. Heartworm grabbed my attention immediately considering that it was a Resident Evil kind of Fatal Frame style game, and I had to dive into it after playing the demo because the demo was actually creepy as hell. The demo showed the consumers that you don't need high-end graphics to be creepy, you just need a good concept and a lot of passion. And believe me, you could tell the people who developed this game have a lot of passion for the genre. But does that translate to a good game with the full release? Let's find out. I'm Brawdury, and it goes without saying, prepare for spoilers as we recap and review Heartworm. Our story opens up with our protagonist Sam preparing for a trip. She's been grief-stricken for a long time after losing her grandfather and after learning about a house off of a website, a house that a lot of people claim is a gateway to the other side. She decides this is exactly what she's been looking for, and nothing was going to stop her from visiting it.
I know this is very risky, but the upside is so good, I'm taking it.
Honestly, there's no reasoning with the girl. She's so eager for this to be true, she's not even listening to the words coming out of her own mouth.
They said a lot of crazy stuff, but the one thing that they all agreed on is that in that house, there's a room that can take you to the other side, to see the people that you've lost again. The thing is, no one who's gone has ever come back.
No survivors. Then where do the stories come from, I wonder?
Even if it seemed far-fetched and unlikely to be true, this was her only chance, her only option to see her grandfather again. So she heads out into the middle of nowhere to see if the rumors are true.
Small, but filthy.
There didn't appear to be a way inside. The front door was locked and the place was boarded up tight.
Wait, but maybe the back door isn't.
Security!
Knock, knock. Who's there?
We were wondering if we can borrow some brown sugar.
Haha, she's inside and she appears to have the place all to herself. I mean, granted, that's to be expected considering the place is abandoned, but you know how much creepier it would have been if she would have showed up and there would have actually been somebody there? Good thing she's got the place all to herself. Making her way through the house, the place was dark and claustrophobic and looked like it smelled of mothballs and cat urine. Well, what do we have here? Stepping right on through, she's led down a very narrow pathway lined with VHS tapes. I mean, thousands of VHS tapes. I don't know if there's a correct number of VHS tapes that you should be able to find behind a hidden passageway and it not be creepy, but this is definitely a red flag situation she found herself in. But no worries, the pathway might lead to a dead end, but it's not like she's leaving empty-handed.
Ooh, piece of candy.
It may only be half an emblem, but it's a start.
Well, hi there, little Rose.
And after discovering the second piece of the emblem down the basement, Sam combines the two and finds where they go up in the attic, but I'm not too sure that's a good thing.
The air feels colder all of a sudden. Something has changed. If I go through this door, I may not come back.
But come on, people, she's come this far. You really think she's going to turn around and go home? She descends down a staircase and...
No! Hell no!
What in the Ubisoft forgot the day one patch are we looking at here, Sam? I'm going to put money down and say that this place isn't built to code. It would appear that we have staircases suspended in an endless void. Are you sure you want to be going down these? And look at her go. No fear in her heart, I gotta respect it. She's come this far, there's no way she's turning back now, unless she runs into a dead end where there doesn't appear to be anywhere else to go. Well, that was a little bit anticlimactic. Why don't you head back upstairs and see if there's another path you can go down.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Sam takes her chances and rushes back down the staircase, plowing through the door like an NFL star with something to prove, only to find herself on a platform that shouldn't be there with no exits. She manages to shut and lock the door before that thing was able to come through, assuring her safety for now. I stand corrected. Apparently, there's no locked doors allowed in this dimension.
Hello there.
Damn it, Sam was hypnotoad on that TV because how else are you going to explain you not noticing an 8-foot-tall murder demon from sneaking up on you? Luckily for you, it doesn't appear like the murder demon's going to get its opportunity to finish you off.
They're here.
Static from the TV reaches out with them strong hands to pull her on through.
A few moments later.
What the hell is even that?
Sam wakes up to find herself on another platform in the void, all except this one's large enough to hold a massive archive on it. After searching and finding nobody around, Sam decides to take the only path that's open to her. Unfortunately, it just leads her to a large static cloud. It seemed to be made up of the same static from the television set, but this time it wouldn't let her pass. But after attempting to photograph it, it dissolved away and allowed her to go on through. That might actually come in handy later. And look, a house hanging upside down in the void. annoyed. Yeah, I'm sure this is going to end well for you, Sam, but it looks like your only way in is through that window full of static, so you might want to keep your camera in hand. She climbs on through to the other side and finds herself in a neighborhood that looks awfully familiar. A little too familiar, but before Sam could process anything, she discovers
We got company!
a static silhouette appeared, cornering Sam. But what it didn't realize, Sam knew its one weakness, and the fashion shoot was about to begin.
Yes. Okay, show me eyes. Yes. No! I'm spent.
Now that that's dealt with, she can explore the neighborhood in peace. Well, kind of in peace. There's still a lot of them wandering around, but there's a reason why this place looks familiar to her. That's the house her friend grew up in. That's the baseball field she used to play on. That's her grandparents' house, her house. What the hell was all these places doing here? And why were they all so condensed together? They used to be blocks apart. Even finding the place where her grandfather's funeral was held less than a block away. Her grandfather's coffin's still inside, being monitored by a massive eye in the sky. And apparently not doing a very good job because there's no body in that coffin. At least not yet.
What are you doing?
I know getting into coffins work out in Miyazaki FromSoft games, but yeah, this just seems unsanitary and highly traumatizing to get into your own grandfather's coffin. But Sam's gonna do what she's gonna do. She closes the lid and reopens it to find herself transported to her grandfather's tomb. That is now surprisingly closer to the inner city than what it should be. And it turns out Sam was no stranger to this city either. She remembers after a little bit of exploring that this was the city that her family came to visit when she was little. And even though she doesn't remember a whole lot about the trip, she does remember this was the last time her family was all together. This of course makes things a whole lot more unsettling, because she might have bit off a little more than she can chew by coming here. Wherever she was now was taking her through random places that she had been to throughout her life, forcing her to face her demons from her past.
Tough life. Dude, you have no idea!
Because apparently the city's in Australia, because how else are you going to explain this literal nightmare fuel that Sam has to face down after prying her way into a bus that was blocking her path?
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Hopefully your arachnophobia doesn't run deep, Sam, because it's time for you to snap some photos of that eight-legged widow and make her a star.
Let's get started. Yes, beautiful, feeling it. Okay, you're an animal. And I'm spent.
Once the shit was over, Sam was able to recover a paper before passing out and being teleported back to the archive. Realizing the page is part of an ancient book in the middle of the archive, she returns it there and another path is opened up for her. One that leads her apparently right into a Disney forest. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm going to miss the giant spider-infested city, but I can't say I was really expecting this. Turns out it makes sense that Sam was brought here. She used to come on hikes with her grandfather here all the time before he passed away. But compared to the other places the realm has showed her and had her revisit, this seems a little off. And to make things worse, apparently Sam's fear of dogs is being manifested into tree wolves. And there are a lot of them. Somebody forgot to spay and neuter their pets, and they had a lot of puppies. They are fast, they are hungry, and they will not leave Sam alone. And to add insult to injury, they got Bambi.
No. Wait. Damn it! It never gets any easier!
Yeah, Sam's going to need a moment to reflect on happier times while she looks up at the stars, before returning to Bambi to siphon off some blood for a ritual. What? It's not like he needs the blood anymore, people. And once Sam was able to restore power to the generator, she was able to jumpstart a dead heart. A big, massively creepy, evil-looking big heart.
Are we the baddies?
Best not to ask questions that you're not prepared for the answers for, Sam. Just grab the crank and be on your way. Sam uses the crank to reveal a passageway down into a cave. There's only one problem though.
It's a trap!
You hear a pack of tree wolves hunting her down, leaving her no choice but to try and lose them.
Down by the river!
Suckers. Sam now finds herself staring down a literal forest guardian, and to make things even better, the wolves caught up. Yeah, I hope you're a good swimmer, because it does not look like the forest guardian is going to wait around for you to decide if you want to be ripped to shreds or trampled to death. Could have ended a little bit better. I mean, the good news is you didn't drown, but the bad news is you kind of washed up on the side of the river with the forest guardian. Sam plays hide and seek with the beast, snapping photos when she can until it tuckers itself out. Once defeated, she's able to recover another page before passing out and waking back up in the archive once again. And just like the last page, once it's reunited with the ancient book in the archive, it opens up another path, this one leading to a large ladder. Okay, first we had to deal with your fear of spiders, and we had to deal with your fear of dogs, and now we have to deal with your fear of giant broken grandfather clocks. One of these things is not like the other, Sam. Massive gears hovered in the sky as she made her way to the door at the base of the clock. Entering the clock, she realizes that she needed to get to the top floor. Unfortunately, she also realizes that when she gets there, she's probably going to have somebody waiting for her.
Hello.
It took her a little while, but Sam was able to recover some artifacts. Artifacts from pocket dimensions that were mimicking places from her past. These artifacts will allow her access to the highest floor of the tower, where she would find herself outside the archive once again. And after finding and returning the final page to the ancient book, she's rewarded with a key. She can put an end to all of this by facing off with the Toneberry Titan. It put up one hell of a fight, but it was Sam who was victorious on this day. But that being said,
Run, bitch! Run!
Sam does survive the fall, but she wakes up to find out that her camera is damaged beyond repair.
No! But possibly yes.
After scaling VHS Mountain, Sam opens up the door and finds exactly what she was looking for, even if it wasn't what she was expecting.
Congratulations. You made it. Though, for a moment there, I thought you might end up like one of them.
Made it? What are you talking about? Who are you? What is this place?
I wish I knew. I was exactly like you until I made it to the end. I fought so hard, hoping for answers. This place has a mysterious way of holding on to our memories. Mine must have melded somehow. My understanding of this place is deeper, but not complete. I've been here for so long, but I still don't understand it.
What happens now?
To be honest, I don't know. I couldn't stop you before you got to the end. I don't even know why I tried. I think I was afraid of what would happen if you succeeded. So when you beat me, I fled. This place, it takes everything that you have. It shows you the worst parts of your life, the terrible things that haven't happened to you yet. And then it traps you. I couldn't leave. At least when I took the cloak, I felt like I belonged here.
Before I came here, that's when I felt hopeless. I was only focused on my own misery. But the further I explored, the more I realized that this place, our memories, our fears, they don't define us. Whether you planned it or not, your journal and those photos of those who couldn't make it as far as we did, they helped me realize that I'm not alone. So many others came before me, and their stories ended here. But I don't think ours has to. We made it this far. That has to count for something.
I don't know. I do want to believe that. I am glad you're here. But even if you're right, I don't think there's any way for me to escape this place. I've gone too far, spent too long here. I've become a part of it. And I'm afraid there's nothing left for me in that world.
I can't promise anything for sure. But we'll never know if we don't try. try. Will you just try with me?
And that's Sam's story. She escapes and returns home a stronger person after facing her demons. She came to terms with her grief, closing that chapter in her life and hopefully moving towards a better tomorrow. Finally bringing this trauma dump of a game to an end. And it pains me to say I really liked Heartworm, but I'm disappointed it didn't make me love it. The game had a lot of good going for it. It had an interesting concept, a unique look, the music was amazing. The gameplay, I mean, it was nostalgic, but it was still entertaining to a point, but it got boring really quickly. I'll talk a little more about that here in a second. There's a few other things I wanted to talk about first, because I really don't think the developers did a bad job with this game. I truly do see it as a labor of passion, because like I said before, they did a lot good with this game, but unfortunately, with how good the good is in this game, it makes the bad stick out really bad. For starters, they really nailed the way survival horror games used to play with inventory status and everything else, but the problem is that nothing in this game ever makes you feel pressed enough to where your lack of inventory really feels like a hindrance. I mean, I would argue after getting all the trophies that you don't even need to go and get the camera bag that gives you an extra 2 inventory slots, because you're never forced to hold on to so many items to where you might need to swap them out for other items to complete puzzles or anything. You can even get away with not even carrying around healing items because you really don't take a lot of damage in this game. You could basically run around everybody in this game except for the bosses, which of course took away the fear factor for a lot of the enemies you went up against, which unfortunately means a lot of actual like horror elements you're going to get in the fear factor you're going to get from this game is from the atmosphere. Now luckily they nailed that with this game. This game has amazing set pieces. It is a really creepy like world to go through. I really only have complaints about the kind of like drop off that happens when you go from the city to the forest, but overall the game does feel really creepy while you're walking through it. Not to mention, weirdly, whether it was intentional or not, there were several sections of the third board that made you nostalgic for other franchises, or at least it did for me. There was a section I walked into that made me think of Silent Hill. There was a hallway that made me walk down that made me think of Resident Evil. That is Resident Evil. There was no thinking about it. That was definitely a hat tip to Resident Evil. The Clock Tower franchise popped up in my head immediately, and weirdly, Final Fantasy popped up in my head towards the end of the game. That wasn't just a joke I was making at the end of it. That literally looked like a Tom Bear. It even used a series of lanterns in that battle. I'm just saying it's a good thing they didn't give it a kitchen knife, because more than likely they would have had a lawsuit on their hands. I also feel like the game didn't give you enough as far as weapon variety. It was very disappointing to find out that you only got one camera upgrade for the camera you get at the beginning of the game, and that there was no unlockable like weapons based on how you did in the game. They do give you a lot of really cool costumes to unlock. My personal favorite was the one you get from completing the bad ending. No, I will not show it on here because it kind of gives off a little bit of a spoiler, and I really do think people should pick up this game. But even though I think the costumes are cool, I really feel like they should have had a little more fun with cameras, maybe giving you different types of cameras with different types of ranges and stuff to play with. It would have added to the gameplay, but they would have also needed to put in a lot more enemies into this game, because really, like I said, you could run around all the enemies. There were that few enemies in the game. I don't know if they did that for technical difficulties or if this is just how they planned out the game to be, but it just felt like the world was a little too empty. You had your threats, but they were too spread out to actually be threats. And because of that, you never run out of ammo either. I haven't tried it myself, but you might be able to go through the game killing everything and still having plenty of ammo. But I can get over all that. The one thing I can't get over is how kind of disappointing the story actually was. I actually don't even consider Heartworm's story to be an actual story. I really feel like it feels more like a trauma dump. And it really doesn't help things also that I did not care for the protagonist of the story. Granted, I will admit the character does grow throughout the story, but she's just constantly coming off as whiny, and I don't know if the voice actress was like told to voice the character that way, or if they chose to do that just keeping the style of old school survival horror games, but the line delivery was so monotone that it took me out of the more emotional scenes, and it just wasn't as enjoyable as it could have been. I will say this though, she could take a licking and keep on ticking. This girl was getting abused throughout this game and just kept on going. So that was a plus in her column, and I really feel like if maybe if they did a sequel to the game, if they worked on her a little bit more, I might change my mind about her. She just wasn't doing it for me in this game. And a little suggestion, if you're looking to tweak her design a little bit, I would actually remove the dimples on her face, because every time I saw these shadows, I couldn't help but to think of these characters. One final note, and this is just a personal preference on the story and everything, the bad ending is the best out of the three. I did not care for either one of the Leaves endings. They just it was just too, I don't want to say corny, but it just did not fit with the rest of the game. The game felt very bleak while you were playing through it, or at least the story that I felt like they were trying to tell felt very bleak. And if you had went with the evil ending, the bad ending, which I'm not going to spoil and stuff like that, it just felt like it could have added to this in-universe urban legend / creepy pasta lore that they're going with this house. And I just felt like it was a ball dropped making the other ending the true ending, when this ending just fit it perfectly. Plus, the stay ending kind of has the added benefit of being less fetch questy, because you don't have to go searching for any more items in which you need just to get through the game. But truth be told, even with all the bad in this game, I still think you get your money's worth when you buy it. You're getting a full gaming experience with unlockables for only $15. That is a damn good price for a game in this day and age. All in all, despite my mixed feelings on the game, I do think they did a great job, and I want them to keep making games, because I feel like they got enough of it down that they just polished their writing skills and their character development that we could actually get really good for memorable games and possible franchises out of this company. That's all I got to say in this video. I think this game was great for what it was, and I definitely, like I said before, think you should pick it up for the $15 price tag. If you're still on the wire, I'm sure it'll go on sale sooner or later, but it is a short, condensed gaming experience, so if you wanted to enjoy some of the stuff I didn't go over today, it probably will get spoiled for you in the long run the longer you wait to play it. But until we meet again, leave a comment down below to let me know how you really feel about the video. Like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and I hope to see you guys back here very soon.